Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm going to get us out of here. Arthur Donald, my boy, do you like science?
You can just keep your mouth shut. I don't talk to racists.
Oh, come on now, Arthur Donald. Don't be so close-minded. Science can be fun, even if it is kind of racist.
So we've been talking about Trump's takeover of D.C., and the left's hair is on fire over it, right? And we got to see how this shakes out. We've been talking about, like, what is he going to do with homeless people? 25% of homeless people are children. Are you just going to take the homeless people and put them in prison? So we've been talking a lot about it. But guess an unlikely ally in Trump's idea to take over the police departments of Democratic cities, MSNBC. You think I'm kidding?
Yes.
Morning Joe.
Here's Morning Joe. Listen to what Morning Joe Ball says.
As long as the president focuses and the FBI focuses and the National Guard focuses on safety and security and not being an ominous force in that city, but just providing support in a partnership role to the D.C. police, that'll be a great thing. If they step over that line, obviously that's something that, you know, we can do two things at once. And if they move into a more ominous role, that is something that we need to, obviously, and everybody needs to bring up with real concerns. But I will just go back to the fact that, you know, the people that are cheering this on privately are not like right-wing Republicans, are not MAGA people. A lot of our friends are in the media, and also Democrats that worked on Joe Biden's campaign, that worked on other campaigns, that are saying, yeah, I'd like to feel safe walking around this city. If the federal...
So there is Joe Scarborough telling you that the people who are quietly cheering on Donald Trump's takeover of the D.C. police and his crackdown, authoritative crackdown, the people who are cheering that on aren't MAGA. He's saying the people who are cheering that are people in the media, people who worked for Joe Biden, Democrats who worked in the Joe Biden White House. That's what he's saying, that the people cheering this on are quietly, not publicly, the people quietly cheering this on. That's what he just said.
Why aren't they loudly cheering it on if they're so afraid? Are you that much of a...
Yeah, they don't want to... They can't be seen being on the side of Trump, Kurt.
Well, I mean, that's more than your safety. This is what some people are so lame.
Just why they all went along with the completely manufactured trans crisis in this country. There never was a trans crisis, and it was manufactured by
J.B. Pritzker's family,
by the intelligence community. And it's another way to keep people divided, and it worked like a charm.
Big pharma thing too.
It didn't cut. It did right. It's a big pharma thing, and it came from BlackRock. It came from the top of the three companies that own everything. So, and here he is telling you that the people who are cheering this on are Democrats who worked for Joe Biden, people in the media.
Maybe because Joe Scarborough is hoping Trump's police will find the real killers of his mistress that time.
Government can be a positive partner in keeping the streets safe while, again, forming a partnership with the D.C. police and not taking over. Then at least the people I've spoken with that live in D.C. day in, day out see this as...
So there he is. And here is Mr. Hardball himself, Chris Hardball. They brought him back on to talk about this. And he's going to tell you that Trump has got the Democrats in a pickle because they're out there defending crime. Watch this.
And the murder rate, you can't keep saying violent crime is down, but the murder rate's up. To the average person, the murder rate's about life and death. You don't brag about a rising murder rate. And the Democrats are, I agree with you, Mika, they're falling into the trap of defending what's indefensible.
It's a trap. Yes, it's a trap. I mean, if it's not a winner politically to say, oh, you're wrong, look at the data. Because, you know, if one violent crime happens in a very heavily populated part of the city, people hear about it and it's visceral. They don't want it. And they'll gravitate to the person who appears to be doing something about it.
He say to the average, do you hear what he said? He said to the average person, murder is life and death. I think to all the persons, Chris, murder is life and death to all the persons, unless you guys have some secret technology I don't.
So they're saying that this is bad for the Democrats. They're seen as defending the indefensible, saying sure the murder rate's gone up, but rest of the crimes out. Like that doesn't cut it. Like
the
maybe,
worst one.
The worst one. Yeah, the worst one's up.
That's way up though, but everything else.
Everything else. So let me play Joe Scarborough one more time for you.
As long as the president focuses and the FBI focuses and the National Guard focuses on safety and security and not being an ominous force in that city, but just providing support in a partnership role to the D.C. police, that'll be a great thing. If they step over that line, obviously that's something that, we can do two things at once. And if they move into a more ominous role, that is something that we need to obviously, and everybody needs to bring up with real concerns. But I will just go back to the fact that the people that are cheering this on privately are not like right-wing Republicans, are not MAGA people. A lot of our friends are in the media, and also Democrats that worked on Joe Biden's campaign, that worked on other campaigns, that are saying, yeah, I'd like to feel safe walking around this city. If the federal government can be a positive partner in keeping the streets safe, while, again, forming a partnership with the D.C. police and not taking over, then at least the people I've spoken with that live in D.C. day in, day out see this as a, I'm going to guess he's going to say as a positive, but that's where the clip ends. I got that from Carly.
Remember, he went and kissed Trump's hand, the ring, right away, because Trump used to talk about someone should look into Joe's mistress. It was so sad how she was killed. Very suspicious. Remember, he was throwing that out back in 2016, and they were furious at him. And all of a sudden, they're kissing his ring because now the new daddy controls that file, I guess. So the Democrats are done. I don't know why people think there's hope for them at all. There's not.
Well, the only hope for the Democrats is Trump. They don't have to do anything. They don't have to be good. Kamala Harris didn't have to have a campaign that made sense. She didn't have to appear to believe in anything, because if you don't vote for me, Trump.
Yeah.
It's the greatest get out of jail free card. It's the greatest get out of jail free card in the history of politics, and the Democrats have been playing that since 2016. Yeah, I know I'm horrible, but Trump. I know I'm demented, but Trump. I know I'm lying to you. I know I'm lying to you about being demented, but Trump. I know I'm lying to you about giving you a public option, but Trump. I'm lying to you about a minimum wage, but Trump. They've been playing that card. That's the only card they have to play, because the Democrats are horrible. And just as we had Dylan Radigan say, the worst thing that could come of this is people thinking that the Democrats are an alternative. Then that's been
dumb enough.
And that's been the message of this show, is that you're a fool if you fall back into this. Democrats are better than Republicans, or Republicans are better than Democrats, because here we are.
You live in the two-lie system, okay? The two lies are Republicans and Democrats, and they switch back and forth every few years. Remember the Reagan Democrats? Get ready in the future for the Trump Democrats. The Democrats, like Joe Scarborough, is going to be a proto-Trump Democrat, where they're like, hey, this is craziness. We should have some rules, and we need police. Well, they'll all be united by their love of Israel, though. I can promise you that. Don't worry about that.
Yeah, they're all joined by their love of Israel.
We have more in common than we have difference.
How wild that Joe Scarborough spills the beans, and that the people quietly cheering on Trump's takeover of the D.C. police are Democrats, powerful Democrats who worked and powerful people in the media. That's pretty interesting.
I think it's a great. Actually, it was Chris Hardball. Chris Hardball said this, but I think it's amazing that these elites have figured out that to the average person, murder is life and death. Were you from your ivory tower above death itself? You finally realized what the hell? What was that?
I don't know, but I'm gonna be telling jokes about this in Rutherford, New Jersey, Edmonton, Calgary, Vancouver, Appleton, Wisconsin, Rosemont, Illinois, Chicago, Louisville, and Fort Wayne. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for tickets. Over to Steph.
Okay. Hey,
Find
Hart.
out at Jimmy Show.
Hart says, I saw a Y-Files vid stating that on April 13th, 2029, an asteroid named
Apophis. That's an AI thing they made. That's Speedweed's outfit that makes those. I like that show, but that's just a possible scenario. I hated that one, actually. I'm going to text him and tell him I hated it.
All right. Hart.
So it was supposed to be a possible scenario, you know, like they did on History Channel. Well, what if aliens landed?
Right.
And, yeah, it's supposed to be like that, or like swimming with, or living with dragons. They made a fake thing one time on the History Channel of dragon. It's something like that.
Okay. So he goes on to say, Apophis will pass closer to Earth than our communication satellites. Ground zero is projected at LA, California, and you gave me the URL. Thank you for that one, Hart.
I doubt if that's a real thing that's going to happen. And also, they have the technology to push asteroids 100%, which was in that episode. And that's not made up technology. That's the thing they actually have.
Oh.
So I wouldn't worry about that.
Okay.
I'd worry more about, like, you know, the
butter,
the Luciferian child pedophores that run your life. More than that.
Agreed.
I wish an asteroid would hit me if we're not getting any Epstein files, honestly.
Pleasure understands 6669. This is for you, Misha. They suggested, Misha, put your feet near the mic. So I thought.
Okay, I knew that name was no good. Do not ever engage with feet people. That's like talking to a furry. Don't do it.
You're trying.
Don't do it.
There.
Like
That's
watching anime.
That's Misha's
not
nose.
Even once.
If you can't tell, that's her nose. That's as much as Misha wants to show herself on camera.
The name was real bad. A real bad name.
And then Misha, the Jimmy Dore show wrote, Misha's feet are now on mic per your request. So thank you for that.
Put your feet on that mic, Misha. Don't you do it.
Laszlo says, if Steph has hot feet, I'm going to lose it. I don't.
What is this weird thing about feet everybody has?
I don't know. Jimmy had a friend that said he liked feet. And I was so self-conscious because I don't like my feet. I made sure to cover them up when he was around.
Oh, I thought you guys would have stopped talking to him because he's a low-down pervert.
We eventually did.
Ain't nothing lower than a man that's into feet.
Who was that?
Your Russian friend.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, you guys see the clip of Nick Swardson? Oh,
go ahead.
Nick Swardson talking about Marion came up to him once. He was like, you know, I've always hated you.
Yeah.
And then Swardson was like, what? I thought we were friends for over 20 years. Like his parents told me I was always jealous or some nonsense.
Yeah. All right. Hey, Jim Jam. They tell us inflation is down and wages are up. Do you believe that? That's from Tropical Rocket. Hey,
AI
Rocket.
wages. Yeah, you can't believe these numbers. They've been lying about, you know, even inflation. All the inflation numbers you've gotten since, I don't know, we went off the gold standard, I guess, are fake. Like the inflation is always way higher than they're telling you. Always. They cook the books all the time.
Well, you know, of course they do. And but what they can't cook is Fort Knox. And is there any gold there? So if there's no gold there, what does that mean? Does that mean that our money is worthless, that we don't have anything to back our money?
It means you're going on that digital reserve currency when they tell you to, because what are you going to do if not? Nothing. That's what.
Faux Peasy, just a reminder, everybody, you cannot criticize the people who control you if you cannot criticize Israel. What does that tell you? Faux Peasy, nice reminder. F JewTube and Jizrael, just a reminder of the handle if you didn't get a load of it earlier.
I mean, Jizrael sounds better than Israel. You can go there and jizz a lot. Sounds like a better place.
All right, here we go. It says Vergeltung Waf G for Gaza. I don't know if I said it right. Quinpeck, thank you, Quinpeck. Old News released the Epstein flight logs. That's from F. DC police need to make their you-know-what, too. F again, back strong. Derivatives just say no to the gold standard. That's F again. Thank you, F. B-Man, you're in. I hope these people realize it's not just Republican, Democrats too, because they said nothing while Biden was in office. I don't
dude, Democrats talking about Epstein now is rich, isn't it?
Yes.
You weren't even supposed to bring it up or you're a conspiracy theorist.
Yep.
And now I'm watching the Daily Beast put Epstein things on. Where were you guys? Where were you back then?
Andrew
Back to Jim.
Andrew Cuomo says that he is proud to announce that he will be proposing Zoran's law. Law. So I get the guy's name running for governor for mayor is I always call him Zoloft Mondavi, but his name is Zoran, right?
Yeah, and you see it right there in the tweet too.
I thought it was like Sharia law.
So his name is Zoran Mamdani. Okay, I still like calling him Zoloft.
I like Zoloft.
Zoloft Mondavi is more accurate, I feel like.
So Andrew Cuomo is trying to take over one of Mondavi's platforms, and he's going to try and give people help with their rent in New York City because rent is sky high in New York City. So he said, Zoloft Mondavi, you say freeze the rent, but for who? Rich people like you? Hardworking working class New Yorkers are being pushed from their neighborhoods. Let's build affordable housing that helps the people who need it. Under Zora, first of all, this is such garbage. There's no... Andrew Cuomo doesn't mean any of this. He's in the pocket of the real estate developers just as much as that. So this is called campaigning. This is called about a guy just trying to lie and present himself as being what his opponent is. He says, let's build affordable housing that keeps the people who need it. Under Zoran's law, landlords can no longer rent vacant rent-controlled units to the wealthy. You are a rich person stealing affordable housing from the poor. And you're not the only one. It's past time we address this injustice. Let's build a new New York City that works for the people who need it. So he's saying that Zoran is one of these rich people who's stealing affordable housing from the poor. That's what he's saying.
Really?
Yeah. Hey, if you can afford New York housing, you are rich. Let's
yeah, that's a fact, Jimmy. I lived there a long time.
But, I'd say this to Andrew, but without the ultra wealthy pushing everybody else out of Manhattan, what's New York going to become? It's going to become what it was for centuries before, like another nice American city, maybe. I don't know. So here's friend of the show, Ryan Grimm, fresh from a haircut, says, this will massively backfire. Huge numbers of people making six-figure salaries live in rent-controlled apartments and still struggle in New York City.
That's a fact.
That's the whole point of Mondavi's campaign. That even wealthy people are getting priced out of New York. That's what he's saying.
Yeah.
Mondavi's whole point is six-figure laptop liberals.
Yeah. He's going to win.
So
he's going to be fake, just like AOC. He's going to win and be a fake. Why would this idiot be back in any way politically?
Andrew
it's like
Cuomo?
Wiener coming back to be in the council.
Margaret Kimberly says, the median income of rent-stabilized tenants is $60,000. The trope of rich tenants in rent-stabilized apartments is just that, a trope. The only good thing you did as governor was to protect rent stabilization, but you're walking it back because billionaires told you to. In what world, Kitty says, in what world is $2,300 a month for a one-bedroom apartment considered affordable? I don't know what world that would be. That's
New York.
For that much money, it should come with a stable and a horse.
Yeah, no, I don't even know how you afford that.
Everybody should have an apartment horse in New York City. Boy, that's a big pile of shit. You must have a big dog. No, that's just my apartment horse.
Yeah.
You can't really train him. So Cuomo pretending he cares about average New Yorkers it's kind of like the way a bar owner cares about your liver. He doesn't really care.
Yeah, well, $2,300 a month is remarkably cheap for a one-bedroom apartment in New York City, just so you know. I've never
that
even
seems
seen
pretty cheap.
I thought that was rent controlled.
Yeah, $2,300.
That ain't what it costs.
I think that's got to be a misprint. $2,300 is pretty good deal in New York City. In what world is the apartment considered? Well, certainly not just one. Who do you propose rent that apartment for that much instead? Your proposal would make housing obtainable by even fewer people, not more. That's according to Kitty. And this guy says, Hussein says, you don't get to posture as the savior of working class New Yorkers when you've spent decades protecting developers, landlords, and your donor class. Suddenly, Zoran's law is your moral crusade. Spare us. If you really cared, you'd have passed laws like this when you were in office instead of letting the housing crisis rot from the inside. Another PR stunt dressed as compassion, targeting someone for clout while ignoring your own record. New Yorkers aren't stupid. They remember who gutted rent protections, who let real estate money run wild, and who stood by while displacement tore communities apart. That's from...
I disagree. A lot of them are stupid. They all got their shots.
So here's what he said.
Rent-stabilized units, when they're vacant, should only be rented to people who need affordable housing, not people like Zoran Mandami. You don't need to be renting rent-stabilized units to wealthy people. Otherwise, what you're doing is you're abusing the system. I'm going to propose not rent that apartment by law, except to a person who actually needs affordable housing. And I'm going to call it Zoran's Law because it's an abuse of the system.
So he's trying to say that Zoran is a rich kid who's renting rent-controlled apartments, so that's why he's calling it Zoran's Law.
Yeah, well, that's going to work about as well as the woke right is working.
Yeah. So you know how I killed all those old people during COVID? Well, next time I'm going to take their rent-controlled apartments.
How did he come back from Me Too's and killing all them old people with anyone? Because New York, well, it depends how rich you are, I guess. Last time I was there, people had to work in the service industry all understood how bad it was, but everybody else was like, everything's great.
So the headline from the Gothamist is Cuomo wants to lock wealthy out of New York City rent-stabilized apartments. How would that work? That's gonna happen the same way we got our $5,000 check from Donald Trump. Hold your breath.
Yeah.
Ex-Governor Cuomo is resuscitating his moribund mayoral campaign with a catty new social media presence and a populist housing policy proposal favored by opponents of rent regulations. Kick the wealthy out of rent-stabilized apartments. Cuomo put both to useful effect this past weekend when he called on Democratic nominee Zoran Mandami to give up his $2,300 a month rent-stabilized apartment so that a homeless family could move in. So that's his big play. So that Zoran Mandami, I'm pretty sure came from wealthy parents.
Obviously.
He comes from a wealthy family.
He's running for mayor, and he's a contender. And so clearly he's from a wealthy family.
And he lives in a $2,300 a month